Welcome in, everyone. We are going to do a nice de-stress for tight hips. So we hold a lot of tension in our neck and shoulders, which we know all about, but we also hold a lot of stress in the hips. So if your hips are feeling particularly tight, these are going to be some great moves to loosen them up, to relieve a little bit of that stress, and to hopefully work on some flexibility in the hips. But at the very least, it's going to be a nice, cozy stretch session with some deep hip stretches. So make sure you're feeling nice and comfy. You got a good comfy spot to work from, and we'll go ahead and jump in. Okay, so we're gonna start in cross-legged. All of these moves are gonna be low to the ground. We're gonna take it nice and slow and easy. This is part of the Calm series, so it's gonna be very cozy, even though some of these moves are gonna be maybe a little more challenging if our hips are tight. So as always, listen to your body. Let that tell you how far you go into these moves. So they might not look the same as what I'm doing. Your range of motion might be better for your hips, or one side might be a little tighter. That's okay. That's why we're doing this. We're just gonna work on our hips. We're gonna work on each side. We're gonna give them a little bit of love and just hopefully relieve some of that stress. So starting from cross-legged, we're just gonna take a second and sit up nice and tall and just take a couple of cycles of breath, deepening the breath. Big breath in through your nose. Hold it at the top for 2 beats and then out through the mouth. Repeat that a couple of times. Big breath in through the nose. Hold it at the top and then out through the mouth. One more time like that. And this time we're just gonna try to pay attention to the spine. We're talking about hips today. We're not really doing much with not intentionally doing much with the back and neck and shoulders, but they're always involved. So we want to think of that nice, beautiful posture, like someone pulling a string from the top of your head. Big breath in, sit up a little taller. Hold it, and then roll your shoulders back and down, or just kind of plug your shoulders down as you exhale. And we can take a little moment and just check in with the neck. I always want to do that, even if it's lower body that we're working on or something completely different. We're going to be moving our neck, and so we want to move that in a way that feels good for us and be really cognizant of the fact that everything is connected, right? So we might be targeting the hips, but how our shoulders feeling, how our feet and ankles are feeling, how our back is feeling, that's going to affect everything. So we'll just check in with the neck, do a couple of slow, smooth circles. Good. Awesome. Now, I'm going to bring my hands to my knees, roll shoulders back and down, so sitting up nice and tall. I'm going to try to keep my tailbone glued to the floor here, glued to the ground. So that's kind of like my touch point. And I'm going to try to move from my core, from my center. So we're going to come through a circle. We call this one the coffee grinder stretch. So you picture like an old-fashioned hand grinder for coffee beans. So we're going to come around to the left, like pointing towards your left knee, forward, pull shoulders back so chest is open as we come forward, and then make our way through. As we come around back, we'll let our shoulders come forward now and drop chin to chest. So kind of get a feel for this. At first, this looks like it's all upper body, right? Which it definitely is a lot. Like we can get our shoulders really involved here. We're moving through the spine. We're getting this movement starting in the core. But as you go through this, and try to go through it as slow as you can, moving like we're moving through molasses. You're gonna start to probably feel this in the hips as well. Really keeping that tailbone glued to the floor, glued to your mat. Breathe deeply, make this movement as small or big as you need to. Good. And then we can go ahead and reverse the direction of the circle. We'll come through center the other way. Warming up through the hips, and of course getting that side benefit of movement through the spine, through the shoulders. Nothing is ever just one part of the body. We always have like side benefits when we're stretching, but we are focusing our attention a little bit more on the hips today. We'll go through one more. Good, and then go ahead and come back up to your nice tall seat. Okay, we're gonna get into some bigger hip movement now. So I'm gonna come into a 90-90 seat or a box seat. So a couple of notes on this. I have my left leg out in front and my right leg is back behind me. Now to make this a little easier on your hips if they're feeling very tight and you come to this and that doesn't feel super fantastic, bring your feet in closer, so you're gonna kind of narrow this seat a little bit. That's gonna help us to sit up taller. And from there we can go into the stretches, and from there we can always grow and start to widen out the placement of our feet a little bit, which will make it a little bit more challenging. You can also grab a pillow or a blanket and sit up on that, elevate your hips a little bit, and that's gonna also make these stretches a little more attainable if our hips are feeling a little tight. So do what feels best for you today. Wish you could see Kike because she's making biscuits on one of her favorite blankets right behind the camera. Okay, so we're just going to adjust our feet. Now, if that feels okay for you and you do want a little bit more of a challenge, if we come to a little bit more of that 90-90 ankle with feet out, my note there is we just want to make sure that our knees are pressing down towards the floor. That's going to really activate everything. And I also want to make sure that we're not losing our posture. So if it's like, I can come here, but I can't really maintain that nice strong spine, I'm starting to lose that a little bit, then that's my cue to bring my feet in a little more narrow so I can sit up nice and tall. So just find where this feels right for you. And you can start on whatever side, but just to make things a little easier as you follow me, I have left leg out in front, right leg behind me. So we're gonna find that seat, find our nice tall posture, and just stay here for a second. Wherever we are, trying to actively push knees towards the floor and just seeing how that feels in the hips, right? A couple of nice big breaths in and out here. We're gonna be here for a little while, so make sure you feel as comfy as you can in the seat. You might drop chin to chest, get a little stretch in the back of the neck. Good. Awesome. Now we're just gonna do a few moves here. So first I'm gonna start with a nice, easy, gentle twist. So left hand comes down to the floor. I'm gonna bring right hand to left knee. Keeping my legs where they are. Big breath in to sit up nice and tall. Exhale, turn to look towards your left shoulder. As we come into this twist, again, amazing for the spine, amazing for our internal organs, giving them a little refresh, a little detox, but you might be feeling this in the opposite hip. One more big breath in. On your exhale, we're gonna go right to the other side. So left hand to right knee, inhale. Might not get as far into this twist. Exhale, look towards right shoulder. But just feel it out. And then go ahead and release. Awesome job. We're gonna come through a little bit of a fold now. So I'm gonna start over by my left knee. We're gonna come through center and then come over to the right knee and then back. So we're just gonna kind of come through this half moon a couple of times. So first I'm gonna turn a little bit here to face this left knee. Again, this might be the easier of the sides, but we're still probably gonna be feeling this in the right hip. I'm just gonna bring my hands to the floor in front of my left knee. Walk them out as far as it feels good for you. So listen to your body, listen to your range of motion today. You can stay up high on your fingertips if you need a little bit more space, or you can come flat on your palms. Maybe it's in your range of motion to come all the way down into your elbows in this hold. Maybe it's even in your range to come all the way down. Make a little pillow with your hands and bring your head, your forehead down. You choose your own adventure here based on how that feels in your body, how it feels in your hips today. Wherever you end up, maybe we add a little swaying. If we're up on our hands, a little swaying left to right. That'll help loosen up the hips a little bit. And wherever you are, let's take a few cycles of breath nice and slow. Good. On an exhale, you can slowly make your way up out of that fold. That one, as a little bonus, I felt in my left quad. So great if you have done any lower body, if you're a runner, anything like that, you might get a really good stretch in the quad. We're gonna come through center and do the same thing. So I'm gonna walk my hands out forward and maybe start on your fingertips with that gentle rocking left to right just to kind of loosen up. Now I'm feeling this in my left hip, so it'll move and change depending on how tight your hips are, maybe depending on what you do for work. If you're sitting a lot, if you're on your feet all day, you're gonna feel this in slightly different spots. And then move into that fold again as far as feels good. It's gonna feel different than the left side, so just note that. And take a few cycles of breath nice and easy. And then on an exhale, we'll also make our way out of that just the same. And then we're gonna come over to face the right knee. Now this one, because of the way that we're sitting on this side, the range of motion is most likely a little limited. So I'm just gonna come right here. I'm gonna bend my elbow slightly and just rock left to right through a couple of cycles of breath, nice and slow. And then we'll make our way back through center. One big breath in and out in center, and then over to the left. Maybe we get a little deeper this time. One more big breath in. Exhale to release. Awesome job. We're gonna make our way over to the other side, but we're gonna come through a little mobility while we do that. So I'm just gonna lift my knees, drop them over to the right, leaning back on my palms here, but trying not to collapse in the shoulders. Sitting up nice and tall, chest forward, and then drop your knees to the left. Little extension of that inner and outer rotation through the hips over to the right. And then to the left. And then over again to the right. And this time we're gonna stay there and we're gonna set up. Ooh, that's really, really tight in this 90-90. So again, you choose, and wherever you had your feet placed on the other side, it's probably gonna be different. Don't expect it to be the same because our hips are usually a little different left to right. There's usually a little imbalance and that's okay. That's why we're here, right? So you need to be in a little closer, or if you have better range of motion on this side, either way, that's great. Big breath in and out here. Sitting up nice and tall. We're going to move through our twist. So left hand to right knee. Big breath in. Exhale, look towards right shoulder. Through center, over to the other side. Big breath in. Exhale, look towards the left shoulder. And then back through center. Awesome job. Now we're going to go ahead and start over by the right knee. So just walk your hands out. See how this feels. You can start up nice and high here, just rocking left to right. Maybe you make your way down into a deeper fold, up to you. Wherever you end up, take a few cycles of breath. You know the drill, nice and easy. One more big breath in. On your exhale, slowly roll up. Take care with how you move in between movements too. I usually will cue to like a nice slow roll up. This is cozy. Like we're not trying to go anywhere too fast. And especially when you're bringing in that deep breath, maybe we're like almost upside down. We don't want to move in a way that's like jarring for our body, that makes us unnecessarily dizzy. So just take a lot of care moving in between. We're not in a rush. We got this. We just got a few minutes left of this. Go ahead and come to center. Maybe start nice and high here on your fingertips, bringing in that rocking left to right. And then same thing as the other side. You decide how far you go into this. Probably really feeling that in the right hip. Maybe even inner thigh, maybe quad muscle here. And then on an exhale, slowly, easy, make your way up. And we'll go ahead and face the left knee. This is my tighter side. So I'm just acknowledging that, and I'm just gonna move through a smaller little fold. I always find bringing in that rocking motion left to right makes a big difference. You kind of loosen up that tightness. A couple of cycles of breath here. Good, and then we'll come back through center. One more big breath in. Exhale to release over to the right. Maybe we get a little deeper. Maybe we reach our hands a little farther out. Big breath in. Let it go on an exhale and slowly come on up. Amazing, amazing job. See how your hips are feeling now. We're gonna come into a butterfly for our last move. So bring the soles of your feet together. Your knees go wide here. You can do a couple of pulses of those butterfly wings to kind of continue loosening everything up. Now, a note here, the closer we bring our feet in towards us, of course, the more of an opening we're going to encourage in the hips. So if it's still like, nope, I'm doing this video because my hips are really unhappy today, go ahead and move your feet out a little farther from you, almost creating like a diamond shape with your legs. And that's going to take some of the pressure off the hips. So as always, just choose which option feels best for you. You can wrap your hands around your toes, or you can keep them around your ankles, whatever feels better here. If we are in the kind of more challenging option where our hips are able to open up a little bit more, rather than trying to get your knees to touch the ground and forcing that, I want you to imagine your inner thighs rotating up. That little note kind of just helps us to go from like forcing this movement to just kind of gently opening up and focusing on that beautiful posture through the spine, neck, and shoulders as well. Take a couple of cycles of breath here, nice and easy. Keeping our shoulders down. We're working on strengthening the back as well as opening up in the hips. Getting a really good inner thigh stretch too. So many benefits for the lower body here. One last thing, we're just gonna drop chin to chest, keeping shoulders where they are. It'll give you a nice stretch through the back of the neck. You can rock your head left to right here if that feels good. Take 2 more really deep breaths here, the biggest you've taken yet today. Good. And then go ahead and release. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope that your hips are feeling loved and a little less tight, a little less tense. This is a really good one to revisit anytime your hips just need a little bit of easy self-care movement. And then over time, we can see an improvement, especially in that 90-90 and how deep we're able to get into those folds. And it's going to help so many other things. If you're sitting a lot, if you like to go for walks, if you're a runner, there's so many different ways in which we need to kind of tend to the hips. So revisit this one whenever you need that. And I'll see you guys next time. Take care. There she is, rainy day kitty. Kike. She's all cozy. We'll see you later.